Hello everyone! Today I want to talk about a once famous video where men spent on a girl from Russia $317,000 US. Video with that man who lost $317,000 US was uploaded on YouTube on 19th of July 2019, a little bit more than 3 years ago. And at the time of recording this video in September 2022, it had 329,000 views and a little bit more than 4,000 likes. Video was taken and uploaded by guess who? Yes, dating agency, which claims to be, guess what? Of course, scam-free dating agency. As you all may know, if something is too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And remember that famous quote from House MD.
It's the basic truth of the human condition that everybody lies. The only variable is about what.
And I must admit, Hugh Laurie is absolutely right. I am not trying by this video to make some scammer dating agency go out of business. No. Aim of this video is to show you that there are no honest dating or marriage agencies and that you have to be very careful and very cautious when dealing with any of them. Recently I have received an email from one of my subscribers who got scammed by an agency that claims to be scam-free and has many videos on their YouTube channel that they are absolutely scam-free. Let's have a look at what Fernando writes, and I will go into details about that famous video and with conclusions what I think about it. Fernando writes, "Hello, expert of scams. Sorry I don't know your name. Doesn't matter. As long as you pay, you can call me Peter Pan, Frankenstein or Superman. I don't care." Well, no, just joking. Fernando didn't want any consultation, didn't order anything. As you will be able to see now, he got scammed pretty heavily for just one phone number. Fernando continues, "I saw a video which you have this theory that the black man that was supposed scammed $317,000 by Valentine by Inokayeva. I think you are absolutely right." Yeah, of course, I was absolutely right and I am absolutely right. And in this video I will prove that I was right and that I am right. And Fernando writes, "I use their marriage agency after watching videos like these where they expose all the scammers and at the same time telling you that their agency is the best agency in the world. As I have said many times, there is no agency that will be absolutely scam-free. So all of them are scammers. And actually many clients with whom I have consultations, after having consultation with me, they still go on these websites and they get scammed. Not all of them, but many, because people think that they are right. And I may be wrong, but anyway, fool must be scammed. I have been talked about it also. So Fernando continues, "Of course, I learned the hard way that these are also scammers, especially the agency owner who also uses a paper letter type of scheme to run his website. Yes, all websites that use paper letter, all those dating agency, they are all scammers, no matter what they tell you or what they claim about themselves." And then Fernando continues that he can provide me all the information about this scam. Well, I am not interested because I know all about these scam schemes. So not interest for me. And Fernando liked that girl that hosts all these videos and he wanted to meet that girl. So he contacted that agency and he asked for a phone number of that Kate. And guess what? He had to pay a whopping $1,500 US just for a phone number of a girl. That's enormous amount of money. And of course, that number was not valid. So they just bought a SIM card for $5 or $7, gave him that phone number and threw the SIM card away. And then Fernando continues, and this owner of the agency cheating the polygraph test. Gives a link to that polygraph test and he asks, "Had you seen scam as sophisticated as this before?" Well, it's not such a sophisticated scam. It's a common scam scheme to sell you the number that is not valid and get money for that. Usually agencies charge for that like $100 or $200 US. but you paid $1,500 US just for a phone number. And I want to talk about that polygraph test for a couple of minutes. You say that owner of that agency cheated the polygraph test, but it's not cheating the test. I would call that video a bad play of two bad actors, actually. Two men are sitting in front of each other, have some wires around one guy, some plastic box, have a notebook where some graphs are running. Nobody knows anything about those mystical graphs. And all answers to all questions are true. I will not go into details about how polygraphologists work. You can view many videos about this on the internet. But before each test, a person must sit still for several minutes, and you have to observe it as well. You have to see how equipment is calibrated. There should be questions when person who gets tested answers absolutely false to those questions, and you have to see it on all these graphs as well. And during the test, they have to ask questions that would be false, because otherwise you do not know equipment works correctly or no. But I will not go into detail, just watch videos about polygraphologists if you want. I will repeat once again, it's a bad play, it's a poor play of two bad actors. And no wonder, this video has not even gathered 2,000 views during more than 3 years from the date it was uploaded. Let's now review that video where man lost $317,000 and I wanted to include some installments from that video into my video, but I am absolutely sure that they will watch my video and they can complain to YouTube that I didn't get any permission from them to use their materials. I cannot just write them email and ask for permission. I cannot say that, sorry, I want to expose that you are scammers, so please give me permission to use your materials in my video. They will never give any permission anyway. I will just include time codes from their video, so if you want you can view that video, but everything will be understood anyway. If you already know that that video is just a scam, you can skip my explanations to the conclusion. In conclusion, I will tell you why they recorded this video, and I will tell you some interesting things how to check those girls on Instagram that have more than 100,000 subscribers. How to check if they are honest and worth spending time on them. But before we start, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. So let's get started. And for commenting those videos, I will need my notes that I have prepared before. And here are my notes. If you ask what are these notes, I use supermarket slips because I cannot recycle them and just not to waste more paper. I am a little bit into recycling, so it's another story, maybe for another video or maybe for another even new channel about how I try to recycle as much as possible and to keep the planet clean as much as possible, but that's another story. Okay, so in the beginning of the video, total amount spent $317,000, and that man says that he communicated with her every single day. $317,000, pretty big amount of money. Would you believe that person was communicating every day and spent $317,000? Please write me in comments. Then he says that he was contacted by Ekaterina model with 1 million subscribers. If you were him, would you believe that a model-looking girl with 1 million subscribers would be interested in you, only in you? Well, I wouldn't believe in that, but he did. Then he says that he spoke for 10 to 15 hours with her every day. Can you imagine spending 15 hours, okay, not 15, let's say 10 hours, just to stay online and just to talk to a girl that you haven't ever met. 10 hours every day. Pretty weird, huh? And you have to work. If you have so much money, if you can spend $1,000 or $2,000 per day, you should be earning about at least $100,000 per month, correct? Then he says 4 hours and he falls in love. He communicated every day after 1 month for 10 hours per day. 10 hours per day, once again. I wouldn't believe in that. Would you? Then he says, in July, I spent over $20,000, contacted agency, got reply, but then he continued to communicate. So, spent $20,000 on just communicating online without ever meeting that girl, and continued to communicate. Again, something is very, very weird, right? And then from July to February, he spent $1,500 per day just for stickers, for those emojis. I love you, I miss you, I want to see you, and all those smileys. $1,500 per day for 8 months. You know, psychologists would not help in this case. It's more like a psychiatric problem if it was true. But again, I don't believe in that. Do you believe? And then he says, I've never had any problems dating. Friend told me about website, so I thought maybe if I come to Europe, I can find somebody dating in Europe. Well, spending $1,500 per day, just if you come to Europe one day, and if you have never had any problems dating, that's something like a fairy tale or something, or maybe he has millions and billions of dollars just so that he can spend so much money. If you never had any problems dating, you would not be even spending money on girls. You know, when I was young and we were like picking up girls, our aim was not to spend a cent on girl and get their phone numbers, get them on dates, buy them maybe an ice cream, and then eventually get them to sleep with us. And we never spent like more than $20 on those girls. It was just not like a hobby, but it was like a challenge for us when I was studying psychology. And as you know, girls love with their ears. And money is not the first thing that they are looking for. So if he never had any problems dating, just spending $1,500 per day, at least that's a fairy tale for me. Then he says, I had many suspicions it was scam. Many suspicions, but never stopped that conversation. Also pretty weird. And then he says, I bought 2 times tickets and cancelled. That girl was in Russia, was in St. Petersburg. You're American. Why don't you never say anything about Russian visa? It's extremely difficult for American person to acquire Russian visa. So you bought tickets, you should have applied to a Russian embassy at least 2 times, and it would be a problem. You would have talked about that if you indeed bought tickets and applied for that visa, but you never said a word about Russian visa in that video. And then he says, I bought an engagement ring and she lost it. Then bought another ring and another iPhone. And then he says that she accumulated all those gifts in 1 week. So he bought her an engagement ring and she lost it. Then he bought her another engagement ring and another iPhone. So, from the beginning of that week, let's say, he must have bought her an engagement ring and an iPhone. So, she lost an engagement ring and she lost an iPhone. And then he bought her another engagement ring and another iPhone. Maybe I don't understand something. In that video, he seems pretty logical. But is it logical when somebody like loses an engagement ring and loses an iPhone? And engagement ring is something that you present to a girl yourself, and you don't deliver it to her. Or maybe you can ask her through another maybe man to marry you, and so that man can marry her, like on your behalf. So, and maybe he will live with her, maybe he will have sex with her on your behalf. Something is not understandable. And when something is not understandable, well, it's not true. Maybe I am wrong? Well, write me in comments. Then he says she was in Bali, and then she wrote him, problems with my phone. I found old phone card which I used when I was in Ukraine. So she was in Russia, she sends him a Ukrainian phone number and tells him to call her on that number while she is in Russia or she is in Bali or whatever. So to call her in roaming. Usually you give a local number, not a phone number that you use in roaming, right? So again, something doesn't click there. Finally, our hero hired a detective and a lawyer. And to emphasize, he says, no matter what costs or expense or time, I will not stop. Video was uploaded in June 2019. More than 3 years have passed. And what? Ekaterina Yanakayeva is in jail? You can see her Instagram account. This is how Ekaterina's Instagram page looks like on 26th of September. Let's have a look at the last photo. It is taken in Dubai. You can see Dubai Mall, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Here Ekaterina writes, despite all rumors that in Dubai you have to dress very modestly, I note that the girls put on whatever they want. Photo was uploaded 2 days ago on 24th of September. Let's take a look at the second photo, which is also from Dubai. Uploaded on 23rd of September. Let's check out this photo where it says trains have their own unique romance. As we can see, this photo was uploaded on 21st of September. As you may guess, Ekaterina does not travel by herself. Somebody must have taken that photo, right? Let's take a look at the next photo where it says, tomorrow we fly to Dubai. Note, we fly to Dubai, so she flies there with somebody else. So she is not flying there alone. And to show more activity in her account, she writes, need help from those who visited, what interesting places, excursions can be seen, how to save yourself from the heat of 40 degrees. This photo was uploaded on 19th of September. Have a look at some other photos of Ekaterina. But would you spend $1,500 on smileys each day in text conversations with her? Please let me know in comments. And let's have a look at this photo. Ekaterina is in Cappadocia. It's in Turkey. And Ekaterina comments this, dream travel in action. When I see a purpose, I do not see any obstacles. 5 years ago, I added Cappadocia to my list of dreams. A year ago the trip was planned in advance but cancelled the day before. The tickets and the hotel did not return any money. And here again she writes, this is our second attempt to meet in Turkey and we succeeded. To meet in Turkey with whom? Who's our second attempt? Maybe with that man Tony, how do you think? And what is also interesting, she posts a lot of these photos, videos from her travels. If this guy was corresponding with her for 8 or 9 months, he should have seen all those videos and photos and descriptions that she is flying somewhere not by herself. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Pretty nice photos, huh? And let's have a look at this photo. And look what she writes. Why have we chosen Rixos Premium Seagate Hotel? Why have we chosen? This post was uploaded on 2nd of May. And who takes all those photos of Ekaterina? How do you think? Please write in comments. And she writes that the service in this hotel was the best. The food is second to none. By the end of the holiday I was 90% eating seafood, as I ate it there 24/7. So as we can see, Ekaterina has pretty interesting life. And in your opinion, what do you think? What is the probability of Tony to fit in all that schedule? Please write me in comments. She lives a pretty good life. So, for 3 years, nothing. Also pretty strange, right? If person who has so much money, who spent like $300,000 on all that, and nothing happened. Then, according to the private investigator that he hired, 6% of women want to be involved in international relationships. Yeah, that's somehow correct. And thank him for this mentioning in his video. At least that is true. Then he is telling not to believe all these girls and take his example and not repeat it. Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, such example should not be repeated, but it is not true example. I will talk a little bit later about it, why this video was recorded. In June, he spent on one site $40,000, which is a lot of money, he says. Then he contacted site for the second time and spent overall $150,000, and then continued spending $2,000 per day. I don't even know how to call it from a psychiatric point of view, even though I am not a psychiatrist. But what would you think of that? You spend $150,000 and then continue to spend $2,000 per day communicating with a person whom you have never met in person before. Well, write me in comments. And then he says that she doesn't need a website. She travels all over the world. She is too busy and cannot speak with men. Of course, at least here, in this part of the video, it is true. Such girls do not spend any time talking on websites. And then he says that he hired a lawyer but haven't gone through risk notice on the website. I think it's the first thing what you do. The first thing when you hire a lawyer, you go through that risk notice, or you go through any agreements that you have with that website. Well, you don't have any agreements, but at least you read terms and conditions with a lawyer. You do not just drink coffee with a lawyer in the United States, they charge too much. But then he continues and says that in the risk notice it doesn't say you can't be scammed. They lay out how that scam works and that they pay the women and sub-agencies percentage from men they are speaking with. Yeah, that's true. So in this part of this video it is true. And then it's just blah blah blah, and he says that he will bring everyone to justice. Fines or jail time, he wants it to be both, and he will not stop. More than 3 years have passed and nothing happened. We haven't seen any other videos, we haven't seen any other proof. So, what do you think of this video? Write me in comments. So, okay, I don't need these notes anymore. I could have said much more about this video, but it is already taking too long, and this video will be longer than I expected. My opinion about this video. Dating agency just needed some shocking report. They wanted to draw attention, as much attention as possible, to their YouTube channel with this video. Thus, they could attract more men to their dating agency and to get more business. And they have succeeded, although success was not as big as they expected it to be. And of course, main idea was to show them that they are against scam, that they are absolutely scam-free agency. Maybe some men believed, and maybe some men even joined their website after this video. But they should have been marketing that video, maybe on a paid basis, and maybe it would get maybe 1 million views. Maybe that's what they will do after they watch this video. I don't know. I have been asked during my consultations if it is an actor or what. I think it is a man who was in Kiev, maybe a student of some university, because his pronunciation is pretty good. He is American, he speaks native American language. And he knows how to speak on a camera. If you think that it is very easy to speak on the camera, put a phone in front of you and start speaking. Just start speaking with the phone. And record such speaking for about maybe 5 minutes. And then have a look. Have a look at that recording. And you will understand what I am talking about. Most probably agency wrote a fairy tale script, took a model from Instagram with 1 million subscribers. I think maybe even this model cooperates with dating agencies. Many of them do, because in some parts of that video they show her that she calls him Anthony, and there are several videos from her. It is seen from that video that in some part they show a letter from a bank addressed to this man. And the name of this man is Tony Fraser. Tony Fraser 97. And the mailbox is at yahoo.com. But since that video was uploaded in 2019, I don't think this man is 22 years old. Most probably there are 97 Tony Frasers on Yahoo Mail. And an email from the bank, you know that with any email client you can edit the from field. So not a problem to send like email from any address, from any name. I googled for Tony Fraser and I found only one Tony Fraser, who is Executive Vice President and General Manager of Maxar Corporation. And from my perspective they look a bit similar, but it's not that man in the video for sure. Even though maybe this Tony from Maxar can spend $317,000 theoretically. But do you think this man would spend $2,000 per day on just stickers and smileys? Man who is Executive Vice President and General Manager of Maxar Corporation and who serves a member of the Board of Directors of Iridium Communications. I would really doubt it. I think that such men will not even spend $10 on a girl from a dating agency website. Finally, Tony says that he will bring everyone to justice. Well, 3 years passed, nothing happened. Finally, video was taken in Premier Palace Hotel, one of the most luxurious and most expensive hotels in Kiev. They even show it 2 times that this man stays in that hotel, in Premier Palace Hotel, to show that this man is really rich, that he spent $317,000 on chatting with a girl. Now he can spend a couple of $1,000s on stay in Kiev in this hotel. Pretty nice fairy tale script of a dating agency. But many of you do not know that this hotel has many Instagram zones in it, and many journalists meet with their guests and shoot videos in those Instagram zones of this hotel. You can pay something like $100 or $200 and go into that hotel and record interviews, podcasts, advertisements, and so on for maybe $100 or $200. For example, famous journalist in Ukraine, whose name is Dmitry Gordon, records some of his interviews in this hotel, and at the end of such interview he thanks this Premier Palace Hotel for providing him with one of those Instagram locations. Have a look.
Друзья, я благодарю за гостеприимство лучшую гостиницу Украины, Киевский Премьер Палас. Замечательный отель, в котором нам всегда рады. Посмотрите, какая красота!
Finally, what you should know about such model girls. Many of them have OnlyFans page. And that website, as you may know, where girls post their more interesting photos, but not for everyone to view, only for subscribers who pay on a monthly basis. And Ekaterina Yenakaeva, even though she is not a member of that site at this particular moment, but until April 2022 she was an active member, but you can look some of her photos without paying a cent. Just go to Google Images and write her name as Ekaterina Yenakaeva, followed by a word nude. You can do it right now. You can open a second browser window, go to Google Images and just type her name, Ekaterina Yenakaeva, and type after that the word nude, and just hit the search button. And you will see many interesting photos of Ekaterina. And you can use that trick for almost maybe 50% of Instagram models out there. They make pretty good money from that OnlyFans page, but many photos, of course, get leaked into the internet. So you can look at those photos. And I don't think that this man in the video did not know about this trick. Sorry, I just don't believe in that. Another suggestion, maybe this man was spending $2,000 per day on those photos from OnlyFans and not only from that website. But again, even spending $2,000 on talking to a girl when she is talking to you without any underwear, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't spend so much money on that. But it makes it more believable that way, maybe. I don't know. But as I said, I can talk more about this, let's say, famous video, but this video is already too long anyway. I am sorry that I do not record a lot of videos. I am pretty busy now with helping refugees and with helping people from other either occupied territories, temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, or those people that come in Odessa from the area which is close to the war zone. Pretty difficult work. I work there 4 times per week. And because I have a psychological education, I will continue to do it. And I just don't have enough time for these videos, taking into account that I have consultations also. So if any one of you need my personal help, assistance, advice, email me at my email address, and I always will be glad to help those people who really need help. Don't forget to like this video if you really found this information useful, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and hit that bell button so that you do not miss out any of my upcoming videos. In the meantime, I wish you all good luck, success, joy, happiness, peace, and of course, stay healthy and wealthy.